Hello, welcome to the Jaws postbox. The first question in the postbox is: determine a reaction from an audience when you consider their age or gender. For an audience's age, think about it. OAPs and old age pensioners might find it a bit jumpy, a bit scary. Young children, and I actually had this. When I first watched Jaws, I was scared of going in water. Young children might be scared of the ocean from watching Jaws. I mean, I thought a shark was going to come and eat me at Bridlington, but it never did. Once saw a jellyfish, but a shark didn't eat me at Bridlington. Whereas the people it's actually aimed at will enjoy it. They'll find it thrilling. A few popcorn moments. Terminology. When considering their gender, men might not actually be as bothered by it because, well, the stereotype is that they think they're tough, don't they? They could take it all on. But deep down, they'll still be scared of dipping the toe in Bridlington Beach. Now, in terms of the audience, when you look at a woman, women tend to be more maternal, more protective. When you see that little child getting ate by a shark, that's really got to a woman having her own children or children she knows and just start welling up. But that's another stereotype. What's to say the woman ain't tough and the man's maternal? You just don't know. You don't know. It's paternal for a man. What's to say the man ain't paternal? So, in terms of the sound, visuals, words of music used in this film, the sound helped the scene really, didn't it? I mean, if they were on the boat, you'd hear waves crashing, you'd hear people screaming as well when they're on the beach and the shark attacks. Also, relating to music, there is that theme tune, isn't there? That dun 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 dun, something, you know what I mean, like that. In terms of visuals, well, there's a few decent visual techniques used in Jaws, you see. One is where they keep the camera, let's say that's water level, keep the camera there so they can see under the water and over the water. So let's say the actor's here, you can see him panicking with his higher torso and his lower torso, panicking because the camera's there, the actor's there. And in terms of words used, well, they use words to hype things up, don't they? They use it in a lot of films. Like the shark, they describe it as is it a monstrous size? They describe it as yeah, they just try and make the shark sound as bad as they can, don't they? As the mother of all sharks, blah blah blah. I know they don't describe it as that, but you catch me drift. And this also builds tense, or is it not that? Suspense. It builds suspense up until the very end, where the words that they're using to describe the shark and how bad it actually is. And in the end, I think his number one win is blown up. Or is it where he bites that power cable? Anyway, all that make him out to be worst shark in the world, and he still gets killed by something simple. As I was speaking about earlier with tension, when you look at the Jaws theme tune, it's a really popular theme tune. It's been used over and over so many times before, and it helps to build tension in the piece. You see, it helps send a message to the audience in a way that they understand something's going to happen, that the shark's going to appear when this music plays. But in fact, and then the shark will go up and eat something, probably a person. But that's good. That's how the media producers communicate with their audience in terms of a sound. Also, one thing I could speak about, and I could relate this to the Alien film as well, most of the time you do not see the shark in the visual scene. That helps build tension because, you see, in all that ocean, you don't know where that shark's going to come from. All you can see is his fin sometimes. It also helps build tension because even when you see the shark, you only see bits of him. Obviously, it was a robot, so it was hard not to, but it always keeps you guessing how big is that shark really, and stuff like that. And it works really well because it keeps the audience intrigued and their imagination constantly going. Thank you. Well, now look at generic style. In terms of generic style of narrative, content, camera work, and graphics, this was a film made by Steven Spielberg in his early days of the career. I have taken some notes just for this section. Now, Jaws was a book. The book was very popular at the time when it came out. That's why they had to hurry up making the film. Steven wanted to make Jaws. He even told the producers and studios this. They let him. They gave him a budget, but he managed to go over that budget. Now, because the book was such a big hit at the time, he didn't really want people to lose interest in the genre, the product, the media text. So, like I said, he tried to rush it. But stress got on top of Steven and he wanted to quit, but everybody persuaded him otherwise and to carry on. Because if he'd have quit halfway through, we'd have never read people above him told him he'll never work in the industry again because of this. But the film turned out a lot better than that, and he's worked in the industry on many, many brilliant films since. In terms of content, this film is more or less identical to the book. They used special camera tricks, shall we say, little tricks that the audience aren't aware of. They filmed a real life 15-foot great white shark in the Atlantic Ocean, swimming with fishes around it to create realism to use for certain shots. They then used a small cage similar to the one seen in the film. They put a midget to go inside the cage to make the shark look bigger, and like in the book, where it is 30 feet. They also used a mechanical shark that kept playing up in the seawater. But it worked fine in the tanker. But they couldn't film in the tank, or it would break that fourth wall, that realism to the audience. But in terms of camera work as well, yeah, that with the midget in the small cage, I mean, it was an over-shoulder shot in the cage, so you can see the midget and the shark all in one scene. And obviously with a small person, I don't like the word midget, being so small, it makes the shark look bigger. They also had the waterproof box for the camera when the water was half and half in the shot. Like I was talking about earlier, where you could see the male's torso and lower torso. In terms of graphics for this film, like I said, there was a mechanical and real life shark footage, so using two different types. But journalists started taking pictures of the shark, and some journalists took pictures of the shark on the wrong side with wires hanging out, and this was to be published in news tabloids across USA. Steven got worried over this, that no one wanted to see his film and that would break the realism. But this many years on, the realism has been broken, but the film is still old but gold. Now when it comes to mise-en-scene, I've just opened up my work to help me out with this. There are 5 key elements to mise-en-scene. That is settings and props, costume, hair and makeup, facial expressions and body language, lighting and colour, and the positioning of characters and objects within the frame. Now in terms of settings and props with Jaws, the setting was really on the ocean, wasn't it, alongside the beach. So they used boats. For props they had the harpoon gun, the gas canisters. I mean, when you're at the beach, all those extras too. And that robot shark, they had the robot shark. In In terms of the costume, hair and makeup, it was quite simple. I mean, it's just casual beach gear, really, isn't it? Apart from with the what are you, sheriff or what are you, lifeguard? What are you both? Sheriff or lifeguard? I think he was the sheriff, and he used to have his sheriff outfit. I mean, if you took that away from him, obviously he didn't always wear it, but if you took it away from him, it could spoil the whole effect, and you wouldn't be able to identify the character as well. In terms of facial expressions and body language, the actors must be able to show that they are scared or fearful when the shark is coming. They also need to be able to make sure they're happy when the shark is dead. In terms of lighting and colour though, high key lighting is used underwater. Now I feel this is so you can see better underwater. Like there's light shining from the surface, like sunlight shining from the surface, so underwater everything looks more clear. So high key lighting on the surface as well, apart from in nighttime shots. As for position of characters and objects within the frame, well, just look at the midget example. The small person example I was talking about earlier, where the camera is over his shoulder and you can get the small person and the shark in the scene at the same time. So yeah, that's my miss on scene. I'm now going to do a repertoire of elements, looking at things such as iconography for Jaws. Now, creating my own repertoire of elements for Jaws, I managed to make my own repertoire of elements. So, you know how repertoire of elements goes. It's iconography, scene, setting, narrative, characters, theme, audience response. So let's start with iconography. The iconic thing about Jaws is the shark and the music. Also the camera angle they use, the shark's point of view. You know, where you see things through the shark's eyes when he's about to eat somebody. The scene they used was high key, sort of ocean thriller. Like I spoke about earlier, they used high key lighting in the scene. As for the setting, where we saw it in the film was the beach was safety, the ocean was danger. The ocean was uncharted danger, and the beach was safety of the town. The narrative, in terms of the story, it is the sheriff and his local town is in danger from a shark. So the sheriff sets out to kill the shark and meets a friend along the way who helps him to kill the shark. In terms of characters, we have the protagonist, the sheriff, and his friend who helps beat the antagonist shark, and also the sheriff's family. You start to care about the sheriff's family in a way that you don't want no member of his family to get hurt. When it comes to theme, the theme is water and trying to put fear into people and scare them. This worked well because with the audience response, the audience really liked the film, and it was the first Hollywood film to sell merchandise. It actually made people scared of going in the water. So yeah, that's my repertoire of elements, and that also concludes my Jaws postbox. Thank you. I've been 215506 Joe Tat.